Good evening, viewers, once more, and welcome to another edition of All Angles. Today's program, we will be dealing with investments, all aspects of investments in terms of how it relates to Grenada, the benefits to Grenada, both in terms of foreign investors and local investors. We'll be right back. Welcome. Today's program, we have with us on our panel Mr. Claude Douglas and our guest panel member, Mr. Aaron Moses. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome. The issue of investments. All developing countries requires investments. We don't have the resources, we don't have the capital in particular to do all the things that we'd like to do. And we know the importance of investments. They create jobs, most important, and capital to the country that generates income. But the question for us today, are we getting the best out of our investments, or from investors, that is? We want to look at the regime, the policy. We can start with that. Is the policy guiding investments adequate? Is it serving us? Aaron, we can start with you.
Savings and investments, as you know, is what creates economic value. And the challenge of every country is to create more economic value if they are to satisfy the multiplicity of needs that, abounds within societies. And that has been a challenge, particularly for developing countries, especially in the Caribbean. One has to look at your resource base and examine what are your options. And I dare say the Caribbean still seems to be grappling with that issue. One recalls, for instance, in the 1950s, the novel then development philosophy espoused by the late, Arthur Lewis, who coined the term industrialization by invitation. And he articulated that as a strategy for jump-starting the economies of the Caribbean, where we are basically agricultural-based economies, not doing well, subject to the whims and fancies of the weather and international prices. And he argued that given our major resource base, which was people, fairly well trained, what was needed was the injection of foreign capital and foreign expertise into the Caribbean, marrying that with our labor resources and applying that combination to manufacturing. And that was the philosophy that was pursued not only in the English-speaking Caribbean, but we had Puerto Rico, what was then known as Operations Bootstrap, and a number of Latin American and even Asian countries pursued similar models. And again, that was all driven by the need to create value and recognizing that investment, savings and investment, is what created economic value and drove countries. Now, the extent to which that strategy has worked is debatable, and there's been a lot of studies, and we have seen varying successes as we move from different parts of the world. It's argued that the Asian countries that pursued variants of that model have been quite successful. We have had the case about Ireland, who pursued an ICT strategy, where a modification, it was coined investment by invitation.
When you say investment by invitation, do you mean the
government? Foreign capital, foreign managerial expertise into your country to utilize your resource base, and in most cases it's the existing labor.
What are they looking for? An investor in the UK or in the United States looking to invest in the Caribbean, what are they looking for? What differentiates one island from another, or one territory from another? What attracts that investor?
Look at it from the perspective of the investor. From the perspective of the country, you're looking for managerial expertise, you're looking for foreign capital that can do things. From the point of view of the investor, he is looking to marry his capital, technology, etc., with high productivity levels. So he's looking basically for labor, competitive, educated, highly productive labor. He's looking for a supportive economic environment that is defined in terms of incentives, and there's a wide gamut of incentives in terms of tax breaks for the end product.
Let's localize this thing now. In terms of Grenada, would you say that